Hey everybody, it's Steve with Sky194, and I appreciate you stopping in to check out my video here on my channel. And we are here at Misano, and you can see that we're in the AMG, and this is just gonna be a short little video, a little bit different than the normal video. Basically last night I did some multiplayer races on the CP server, and as you know, as I'm recording this now, and I just pretty much stunk it up, and my driving wasn't the greatest, and either wasn't the setups just didn't work the way I wanted them to, and it really, to be honest, to be flat honest, it just pissed me off, and just because you know I expected it to be a lot better than what it was, and it just wasn't. And the thing that hurt was basically, it just wasn't as consistent as it needs to be, and the car too edgy. Um, you know, maybe get a good lap one time and then just be off a ton the next time, and everything else. And you can't race that way, especially against these guys they're so good. There's so many of them, and I think I was chasing the wrong direction. So, like I said, it kind of ticked me off, and I went to bed, and then today I've been working on stuff, and I went just rethinking everything and kind of going a whole different direction, and it seems to be working really well, and basically set my personal best here in the AMG here at Misano, and also have a real good one for the Porsche also. And the BMW. Actually, I've been working on that too, just to kind of play with it, and actually it even ran some good times with it. So basically, I'm just going to show you a couple apps and the setup, and I'll put the setup in the link. And this is just for everybody to share, just to share, in case you want to try it. And this is a race setup. Again, and even though this is set my personal best with 45, 50 liters of fuel on it, these are race setups that I'm really wanting to design to get the best tire wear, but not just that, but also be more consistent. And I'm a type of driver that I push. I like to push in the corners. I like to push in the braking zones. I push. So if I have a car that I can't do that, I'm going to end up either being too inconsistent or I'm going to wreck. And I did both last night. It was inconsistent or I wrecked. So that's why I did this way, where the car you can push and it feels comfortable to push. And like I said, I'm gonna show two laps, one as an in car and one as like a TV replay. So let's go ahead and do that now. And of course I have the HUD on. We'll go inside the car, and you can see I got 51 liters. I started with 60, so got 51 liters, so I've only done a few laps. And that was a 134.36, which is my all-time personal best. And again, you know, that's not some running on empty, you know, basically on the ragged edge as far as, you know, the car is very, very driver friendly. You see it's not sliding all over the place or jumping around. This is the direction that I'm going to be going as far as all my setups, going that way, unless it's a specific qualifying setup. I'm going to be even, you know, more towards just what the lap time is, not worried about, you know, paranoid about the, you know, speed down the straightaway or something like that. Like I was, you know, too worried about straightaway speed and things like that instead of I'm just worried about a lap time. That's the only thing I'm really concerned about is the delta and the lap time. That's it. And also consistency as far as it can do it all the time. That's what I'm really wanting to more focus towards. And that was a 134.62. And so, you know, like I said, I mean, that's a really good time for me. So again, I just think that that's the new direction that I really want to go, and maybe that'll help everybody out there, and it'll help me, you know, multiplayer where basically I can try to be more consistent and basically have better finishes. You know, plus either, you know, instead of having a good finish or nothing, I can at least have some, you know, more decent finishes because I'm not either wrecking or making such a big mistake. I go off a track or whatever to where it puts me all the way in the rear of the field, and then I'm basically coming back from the, you know, last. So let's look over the setup. Let me see. Let me save this. There we go. Save it into a different setup. Okay, I got the tire pressure at 25.2 left front, 26 left rear, 26.4 right front, and 26.9 right rear. The toe on the front is -0.1 with the camber at -3.2 and the caster at 12.1. One thing I'm also doing is what I was before was a little bit more aggressive with the alignments, and I'm not saying I won't with some cars, because some cars like the Audi and the Lamborghini, they have to have, you know, more negative camber, but certain cars don't like it, and this is one of them. This AMG seems to not like a lot of negative camber, so that's the way I'm going to go, especially since I'm trying to get the best tire wear. So we got, like I said, the -3.2 with the negative camber. And then on the rear, we got toe is 0.15 and the camber is -2.3. And we'll go electronics. I got 3 and 4. Of course, fuel, I had 60 liters with the 1 brake pads. And that's another thing, you know, I'm usually 85 liters when I'm doing a 45-minute race. So that's another thing. I'm trying to put more fuel on to make sure it handles okay with enough fuel. Anti-roll bar is 8 on the front, 62 with the brake bias. Steering ratio is turned all the way down. The wheel rate's 155,000 for the front with a 1,100 bump stop rate on the left front and a 1,000 bump stop rate on the right front. The bump stop range is 0, and on the rear the wheel rate is 9,500 or 95,000. I'm sorry, 95,000. And the bump stop rate is 600 on the left rear and 500 on the right rear. The bump stop range is 4 on the left rear and 6 on the right rear. The anti-roll bar is 4 and the preload on the diff is 100. Now again, this is for an optimal track, but if it was a fast, it'd probably be okay, but if it was green, I might knock the springs down one notch each, and that's probably all I would try to do, and hopefully it would be okay. Dampers or shock absorbers are on the front 7, 4, 7, and 6, and on the rear they're 7, 4, 7, 6. So pretty much about the same. That's kind of weird. I didn't even notice that. Arrow on the front, we have ride height at 49, and on the rear is 82. Splitter is 7 on the front with an 8 rear wing and a 4 and a 3 and the brake ducts, and the front arrow variation is 0.7 to the front. And this is where the main changes I've done. Lifted the car up a little bit. That's another thing. I mean, I was running the car so low that every little thing it hits, and especially Misano, where you're running over a lot of bumps, a lot of things. There's so many things that can upset the car. So I'm making sure more towards the future that I have enough ground clearance to where, again, because of race setup, I want you don't know where you're going to be hitting, what you're going to be running over, to make sure that it can still be able to run over stuff without wrecking the car. And also having enough rear wing that the car feels solid, and you can go in hard on the brakes. You can have more back brake dialed in if you want to a little bit. Things like that, where if you don't have enough rear wing, then the car is just, you might have good speed down the straightaway, and even then it's not that big a difference. I tested it, and you're only talking maybe 1 or 2 miles an hour. And I'll give up a mile or two an hour to gain a half a second on the track. So that's my philosophy. That's what I'm trying to work towards. And I hope you enjoyed this setup. And any feedback or comments would be great. And I hope everybody has a great day. And hope you come back and visit soon. See ya.